What is up, survivors? Today we're going to be talking about taming the Noglin, these little brain slug duders that roll around on the not so nice side of Genesis 2 hanging around. These guys in the wild have the access to be able to mind control you and your tames and take control of them, which is pretty vicious. However, you can tame them. We're going to talk about how to do that. Now, this is a weird tame. It's kind of tricky, sort of kind of like the Troodon, where you actually have to feed it tames that it will mind control in order to get the taming effectiveness up on it and tame it effectively that way. There's a lot of different animals that are fairly effective at doing this, but if you're looking for one of the top ones to do it, it's going to be void worms, and we'll talk about everything else that I use to go out and grab it, or what I've tested and seems to work pretty well. But let's get into how to tame it, where to find it real quick, and then we'll talk about the abilities afterwards. So, onward to taming. Alright, so we're out here in Rockwell's garden, and as you can see, there's a little Noglin out here. Now, predominantly you find these guys in Rockwell's innards. I'm not sure if this is like a glitch that needs to be fixed or what, but I have noticed these guys chilling out here by the riverways and in other areas inside Rockwell's actual garden, which makes taming these things a little bit easier. So what I did is put on some ghillie and hit some cactus broth, and basically I want to sneak up to this guy because I don't want to pull aggro on him, and I just want to drop a tent on top of him. Now, the only reason I'm dropping a tent on top of him is to keep him in place while I'm uncryopotting the void worms. I'm using void worms because the taming effectiveness is one of the most, and it's going to be the quickest tame, the best taming effectiveness you're going to get. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to uncryopot each one of these void worms. So it's going to take a little bit of time because we have the cryo sickness thing running on here, but obviously if you're running certain mods, you don't have to worry about stuff like this. But if you're not, cryopods, void worms, a tent, cactus broth, ghillie armor, that's pretty much what you need. So let's wait for this stuff to execute, and then we will we'll get down to business. All right, so we have 6 void worms. Now, typically you'd probably need 5 at the most, but I've seen this glitch sometimes, so I use 6. So a couple things that are important to note. Bred tames oftentimes will not work on a Noglin tame. Don't breed animals. You can tame more of them, but don't use bred animals. For some reason it works sometimes and then it doesn't others. Again, I don't know if that was something that was done on purpose or what, but it doesn't seem to work very well. However, there is a way around that. If you don't want to breed animals, you can clone them. Cloning chambers, cloned animals will work this way too. So if you just get one max level void worm and you have access to that cloning chamber, element shard isn't too hard to come by out here in Genesis 2, so you could farm it and clone them as well. You can use other animals, but there's a couple reasons why we're using the void worm. One, when it's mind controlling the void worms, it doesn't seem to take its health down. 2, when it's mind controlling the void worms, they don't seem to actually attack me. They fly around, they follow me, but they don't actually attack me. 3, there's a lot of creatures that ignore void worms, so I can have them parked over here and they'll be relatively safe. Nothing's really going to come after them. So it really just makes taming these guys a little bit easier. I don't have to make a big box to put all the tames inside of and let everything go. I can usually just do everything out here. Now, I have all the cryopods keyed up because after a Noglin mind controls one of these guys, I'll need to cryopod them, mainly to keep track of them, because that's one that it will not mind control again. So we got 6 of them out here. I'm going to remove this tent here in a second. Back up. Hopefully I don't aggro this guy. And pick up. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. And we're going to go over here. Let's get this show on the road. Alright, so I'm riding on the void worm. We want to get this guy aggroed. Looks like he's starting to. Yep, he's already Noglin controlled one of these guys. He's going to take it, fly around with it. It looks like predominantly he'll try to target me. It looks like maybe not, actually. Let me switch back over to the tech armor. Maybe he doesn't detect me yet. That'd be embarrassing. Oh, no, there he goes. He's flying around. He'll try to fly around me generally, but if you notice, he's not breathing fire at me, he's not attacking me, he's not doing any of that stuff. So he's pretty chill, pretty docile. Like I said, once the mind control is done, you can just go right back over and pick this guy up. Letting you know that this guy is no longer needed for this. Now, you can be mounted on him, and sometimes they'll take control of him, but you don't even necessarily have to do that. As you can see, I think it just grabbed another one. Yep, it just grabbed another one. And they just fly around. They won't attack me, they'll fly around me, but that's pretty much it. So you have, especially if you get one out here in the garden, pretty much just have to hang out and let this thing happen. It'll go through these tames and eventually tame. The way the taming effectiveness works is it really it comes down to how many times it has to mind control stuff in order to get tamed. So the reason why we use either void worms or something like Brontos would work too is because that's like you don't want to go over 5. You don't want to go over 5 controls. The reason why I have 6 out here is because sometimes it'll control the 5th one and then kind of glitch out, so you have to use 6, but predominantly you want to keep it 5 or lower, and the only way to really do that is with void worms or Brontos, as far as I know anyway. I've seen some people use the turtles because they have a lot of health and they have a pretty good health pool, plus even if they try to hit you, it's pretty easy to outrun a turtle. Well, he's just leaving, aren't you? You're just out of here, huh? Okay, that's weird, but whatever. Peace out, man. I guess I'll go get you in a second. The void worms can be a little bit harder to get, but man, at the end of the day, they're definitely worth it. Mainly because they're void worms, plus it's just easier. All right, so let's move this guy over here. Come here, little Noglin. You know you want this. You know you want this dragon. You know you want it. Not me. You want the dragon. There we go. You don't want it to mind control you. You're just gonna sit there and punch yourself in the face if you do that. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. Guess I'm gonna have to get that void worm over there at some point. Anywho, this is pretty much it. Like I said, you can use other animals, make a big pen if you want to. You could use the tent strategy and then build a giant enclosure and drop your land animals in if you wanted to do it that way. But honestly, this is, get yourself a void worm, get yourself a bunch of them, get one, clone a bunch, come out here. Pretty easy. And there we go. Good to go. Mine now. You whopping level 6 to a level 9. It's kind of sad, actually, but hey. Gotta do what we gotta do. Alright, let me get all the rest of these guys cryopotted, and then we'll go out and play with this guy for a second. Alright, once these guys are tamed, you'll have the option to engage the brain hunt. What that means is whether or not it's going to mind control stuff for you. It's pretty simple. You can pick them up, put them on your shoulder. Their stats, honestly, I would highly advise health above anything else, because they don't have any survivability, and what they can control is dependent upon their level as well. So I would highly suggest leveling health. It's going to help you a bit. The mind control ability is kind of funny, basically. So what we're going to do is show that. And now I can run around as the Noglin. My stamina is going to go down. It has to be a creature of a lower level than me. So this, I think this perisher is like a level something or other. Can't remember what level this thing is. But as you can see, I can now control the perisher. Like I said, I can mind control this guy. I'm running after this monster chops, and yeah, it's going to run away from me. Now, there are certain abilities you won't get, and it kind of flips it over to a tame. So, like, for instance, if you were really lucky enough to have one of these guys and you ran it up to a Giga and mind controlled it, it's not going to operate the way that a wild Giga would go. It's going to work the way that a tamed Giga would work. So the stats are going to be reversed back, and you're not going to get all the crazy abilities that the wild Giga has. Other abilities, like, it looks like some of the water buffs and stuff like that, don't transfer either. So I mean, you're gonna get to mind control those creatures, but it's not gonna be quite as good as they would normally be in the wild, but it is gonna be pretty good. Right clicking again, you can actually use the special abilities. So like a Parasaur, I can actually use my little sonar ability. I can attack, I can do all that stuff. Oh man, all right, tap and F will go back to my inventory rather than the Noglin anyway. So kind of like if you were trying to access the inventory of a creature when you're mounted on it, it's essentially what you're gonna do. And the Noglin's hanging out here. The thing to pay attention to is I can actually remove this Noglin. And when I do, it's gonna be interesting. 10 million damage, blam. Just straight up 10 million damage. So it looks like when you remove the Noglin from the creature takes 10 million damage straight, which means that this thing will assassinate just about any regular creature out here. 10 million damage is pretty intense, right? So we throw the Noglin out. It looks like he's got a couple of level ups. He's got another level up. What are you, level 11? I really hate picking on this Maywing, but you're gonna have to serve a purpose here. Actually, you know what, I want to see if you will. I was going to see if maybe if I put him on attack my target, would he just immediately try to do that? And it looks like the short answer is no, that he won't try to do that. But it does look like when you have him on your shoulder and nothing equipped, you have a crosshair ability to kind of throw him in that direction and make him attack something. So it's kind of like a whistle attack. But also, like I said, it still depends on the level. Like that Gallimimus being a level 33, I wouldn't be able to pick it. It would be an invalid target, much like when I looked at it with the from the eyes of the Noglin looking at the moss shops earlier. So short version, yes, they can mind control creatures. Those mind controlled creatures don't necessarily get all of their cool abilities, and they're kind of rolled back to the stats as if they were tamed versus wild. They have a timer, and if you choose to remove the Noglin early, it does an insane amount of damage to them. The idea of being able to grab control of certain animals and just either take control over them and just go on a killing spree, or take control of them and just drag them, bring them right back to your body and just kill them outright, makes the Noglin pretty effective. The 10 million damage, the crazy ability to just essentially kill whatever creature you mind control is absolutely bonkers. I think that alone warrants this guy having such a high maintenance taming sort of issue. But all in all, Noglin's totally cool. The other things to note is that you cannot breed these guys. Can't breed them. You can't breed them. Breeding them doesn't work. Also, they will only mind control things if the specific target is above 50% health. If it's below 50% health, it won't actually mind control it. Obviously, these guys have a low health pool already, so don't leave them in really hairy situations or they're going to die super quick. That is it, guys. That's Noglin Taming. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I will see you guys on the next one.